I just know it's really stressful for me and 100% out of my comfort zone. But I absolutely never thought I'd be doing this, but here I am doing it. Are you curious what it's like for first timers on a cruise? To find out my first impressions and details of this trip, just come along with me. Welcome to the cruise ship, the MSC Meraviglia. This is our very first time on a cruise ship, and obviously I don't know what to expect. I did watch a bunch of YouTube videos prior to doing this, so I have a general idea as to what's going to be in store for us, but there's going to be a lot of things to me I'm going to be saying throughout my trip here of, wow, I never knew this, or this is incredible, this is amazing, and just be really surprised and shocked at just how things operate on a floating city like this. Our adventure does start here at the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal. We're actually parked just a few hundred feet away from the ship itself. And out here is the Manhattan skyline. Statue of Liberty is directly behind me. And we have some of the skyline over there as well. It's also really windy out here too. It's around 50 degrees, but near the edges, the wind just starts gusting. So it's not the greatest conditions right now, but we are going to be departing here at 3 p.m. And I believe they're going to have like a sail away party, which I will try to show you some of that. I do want to let you know though that obviously this being our first time, we're going to make some mistakes. Number one is when we did come into the lot, it was really congested, and we had a rather early booking time of 10:30 in the morning. Well, we got through the lot, went into the wrong lane, and ended up going out the exit. Had to go all the way around and come back in, so it was about a 15-minute delay there. Then we finally got in line to go inside, and we learned that we could take our suitcases with us as we go right onto the ship, into our room. Well, we're in line, and an attendant came over to us and said, those suitcases are too large, you have to check them. So we had to get out of line, go in to a different area, check our suitcases. We can only take small carry-ons, get back in line. So by the time we parked and got into the ship, it was about an hour time. So we did make some mistakes. We now know what to do in the future if we ever do this again. But there are going to be 5,300 people on the ship. I believe capacity is 5,700. So it's going to be a crowded ship. And I do plan on making 3 videos out of this trip. It is a 7-night, 8-day cruise, but we're gonna be showing you the room tour, the sail away party, and just general first impressions of the ship, which so far is pretty amazing. I'm gonna share some more as the video does go on. The second video will be a full ship tour, showing you what the ship has to offer, including some highlights from Nassau, Bahamas, one of our ports. And the third and final video will be exploring our private island of Ocean Cay, also known as Ocean Key. There we're going to be doing some snorkeling, checking out the different beaches, the lighthouse, just showing you what it has to offer, and share some of the history with it too, because at one time the island was abandoned. Now obviously this is something I don't normally film on my channel, but since this is brand new to me and my family, I did want to share it with you, just to give you a sense of what first timers can expect on a cruise, specifically the MSC cruise line and the Meraviglia ship. Welcome to our stateroom. We are on the 9th floor on the port side of the ship, and I'm going to take you through the room in a different way. I'm going to stay here and explain it to you because it's just easier to do it that way. So when you first come in the door, you do have to put in your key card in a little slot, which does activate the lights in the room. That's how everything does turn on. Above that, you do have climate control options, and the door on the right is the bathroom. The bathroom, I will say, is actually relatively spacious for what you have on a cruise ship stateroom bathroom. It's really clean, really bright, good water pressure out of the sink. There's a full functioning toilet, stand-up shower with the glass door, and it does have a hand-wand shower head. Doesn't look like there's any outlets in there, which could be troublesome if people are looking to bring hair dryers or straighteners or even electric shaver. But with that being said, the bathroom does look really clean. It's a tiled floor, but there is a step up into the bathroom from your main floor, so it was a trip hazard at first. After you do come out of there, you do come into the main room here, where there is a desk with a large mirror. The desk can be used for whether putting luggage on it, or for me, it's gonna be my computer and camera gear. Beneath the desk is a mini fridge that actually is stocked at the moment. There is a list of prices for items which are on the more expensive side. But what I did hear on reviews and research is that the cabin attendants on the ship are really accommodating, that they'll help you out with anything you need. We're gonna ask to have the mini fridge cleared out so we can use it for our own stuff. You could also get a mattress topper for a softer mattress feel, and some extra pillows as well. So we're gonna get those items once they do come here. Across from the desk is a couch, which does turn into a bed. So you do have extra sleeping arrangements in here. And right next to that is a closet with some shelving, some hangers, room for a suitcase, and the safe for putting your valuables in there. There is a telephone, TV, remote control obviously. There is both European and American outlets, and you can bring power strips that are cruise line specified. They can't have any surge protectors on them, but you can bring them to get more plug space, which we did do. We do have a queen size bed here, nice green backdrop on it. Plenty of lighting in here, a lot of accent lighting. There's all little switches and buttons to activate the lighting, so I have everything on right now to make it as bright as possible. But the bed is a queen size one with little end tables on each side, reading lights as well. They give you 3 beach towels that you can use, whether you're at the pool on the ship or going off to one of the beaches at the ports. But one of the best features is right behind me.
Your attention please,
It's one of the many announcements that we have to listen to since we're here. But my favorite feature is behind us, that is our stateroom balcony. So we do have a great view out there right now. We're at port in Brooklyn here, so we can see the Statue of Liberty and the city skyline. There is 2 chairs out there and a footrest, whether you want to put up your feet or put a drink on there, or even use it as a third seat. And the walls are magnetic in here, so you can bring magnets to hang up other things like hats or clothing or bags. And we also brought some magnets where we're going to decorate the door as well. We did hear that that is a thing on cruise ships, that you could decorate your door to kind of give it its own unique look and feel to it. Aside from that, the room is on the smaller side. That's to be expected, but I will say my expectations were a bit off prior to doing this cruise. Now, a person like myself, when I do something new or different or buy something new or different, I always do a lot of research. I do a lot of review reading, watch a lot of videos. So I do get my expectations and standards set. As I was getting back to saying, is that I had my expectations and standards set a bit higher based on what I have read and watched in preparation for this cruise. And although the room is really nice and clean, it's definitely the smaller side, smaller than I was expecting. The ship is larger than I expected. When we first pulled into the port area here, you're just greeted with it. It is just a massive, gigantic ship. My first time for any of us seeing a cruise ship in person, never mind being on one or cruising on one. So it's a many firsts for the 3 of us. And the 3 of us do view things differently. You know, where I'm one who, in preparation to doing this, you know, had my research and due diligence done ahead of time, so my standards were set at a certain level. Jill's the opposite. She doesn't do any research. She just kind of goes into it with an open mind. And Lil is a mixture of both of us. With that being said, though, I think as this trip does go on, I will get more accustomed to it, because first impressions so far overall are good, but I definitely feel a bit of frustration, some stress, and an overwhelming sensation just because the amount of people. There's going to be, I believe they announced 5,300 people aboard this cruise, which is a lot of people in a contained area. On top of that, though, I mean, the buffet area for lunch was hectic, to say the least. Elevators are busy, and there's just a lot to learn. So it is a bit out of my comfort zone. I definitely feel out of my element, but I am trying to keep an open mind and excited. I'm very excited for the ports that we do have, specifically Nassau, Bahamas, and Ocean Cay, Bahamas. In just a few moments, we have to do our muster drill safety session to learn about that. And then we will be heading to the deck for the sail away party. But if you do want to learn more about the ship, I will be showing in much more detail the next video, the tour of the ship, including specs about when it was built, the length, the height, all that good stuff. But for what I've seen so far in the ship, it is pretty nice, especially the atrium and promenade galleria area. Those are the main areas we got to see when we first came in the ship, and it was like, whoa, this is something else. So once we do our necessary stuff here, we'll go upstairs on the deck and sail away on the way to Port Canaveral, Florida as our first stop. It's just about 3 p.m. and they just made an announcement that all the safety briefings have been completed, and they're doing a welcome aboard party in the promenade area. But up here on deck, I believe 15 right now, because I want to take in the views as we depart. I believe the ship is going to spin around 180 degrees, and where we are, we should be able to see the Statue of Liberty on the opposite end. Also, from our stateroom, I was able to capture a tugboat approaching the ship and maneuvering into position to help pull the Meraviglia, I keep calling it Meraviglia into position, aside from the side thrusters that these ships do use. But one of the unique aspects of this trip and this route specifically is when you leave here, you pass under, I think it's called the Verrazano Bridge, but I'm going to film that as we go underneath it, and also put some stats on the screen as that bridge just had a birthday, I believe just a couple days ago. Well, after a long and somewhat stressful day, we are back in our cabin now. As you could probably see, it is getting dark outside. Just got done filming the sail away from Brooklyn area under the Verrazano Bridge. These two decided to go inside. It was a little bit cold for them. But I just wanted to share just a couple thoughts since this is all of our first time on a cruise ship. Basically our first impressions and things we like or maybe don't like so far. So Jill, would you like to start?
No, so far I think it's pretty good. I didn't know what to expect, so I'm not really disappointed in anything this time. I like the promenade, is it called? Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool. And then the buffet was nice. And even the outside pool looked pretty nice too. Too bad it's a little cold out, but yeah. Hopefully once we get in warmer waters, we can get into the pools outside. Anything you don't like so far? I mean, it's compact in the room, but other than that, so far, that and like it's just right now seems to be a lot of people, but you know, we just got onto the ship, so everybody just is trying to figure out where they're going or what they're doing. Okay. And for you?
I thought it would be like a lot more roomier in here. It's not horrible. I have my own bed, which is nice. It's a lot of people, and that kind of stresses me out, and it kind of gave me a headache, but it's okay. I like the buffet. They have a lot of options there, but there's too many people, and I feel like they need more like seating or at least like more room to go places. Some of the places they could probably use an air freshener because they smell like sulfur, but it's okay. I don't know. It's pretty okay. I mean, first impressions. I mean, are you like what you see or disappointed or? I'm in the middle about it. Like, it looks fancy, but at the same time, it's also a cruise, so.
Based on what they said, a couple of things I could add to that is, basically when we got on board, they told everyone, go right to the buffet, level 15. And that's why it was like a madhouse. Mm-hmm. Lunchtime was really chaotic. We did learn through some cruise line videos about going to the back end. I think it's called the aft part of the ship, which is typically less crowded. And there's still the same buffet options, but even back there, it was crowded. I had to basically hunt for a table, waiting for people to finish up, and I ran and grabbed it real quick. A lot of options, but we weren't even able to get everything just because it was so crowded. We haven't eaten dinner yet, but it doesn't look nearly as bad as it was for lunch. Weather right now obviously is not favorable. It is northeast conditions. It's cold and windy, but we are heading south. So we have a full day at sea tomorrow. And then what, Tuesday we
get into
Port Canaveral for 1 p.m. We plan on staying on the ship then because there's not really anything within walking distance, everything you need a shuttle for. So we're going to take advantage of that and stay on the ship and do some things that maybe we can't do since it's more crowded at sea day. So we're going to do probably the water park, the ropes course, and a few other things since it won't be as nearly as many people on the ship. I don't think it's fair to say after the first initial day if I like or dislike cruises. I just know it's really stressful for me and 100% out of my comfort zone, but I am keeping an open mind and I'm looking forward to our ports in the Bahamas. But the three of us, though, are going to take it easy the rest of the evening, grab some dinner, maybe take some pictures. But the next video you're going to see is a full ship tour of all the main attraction areas, including the Galleria Promenade area, the atrium with the crystal staircase, some of the theaters, lounges, arcade, everything of the sorts, including the pools and the water park that we already mentioned. So that'll be coming up, as well as highlights from NASA. And then the final video will be basically a tour and enjoying the private island of Ocean Cay. So we're going to wrap up the video here. Just want to thank you so very much for coming along with us for our very first cruise line adventure, leaving from Brooklyn to the Bahamas on MSC Meraviglia. First day, a little rough and rocky, but by the next video, I think I'll have a different change of pace and a different attitude about it. But if you have any tips you'd like to share, if you're experienced cruisers, by all means, share them down below. If you haven't cruised before, hopefully this video will give you an idea as to maybe what to expect if you do decide to cruise for yourself. But anyways, take care, stay safe, and as always, we'll see you in the next video.